The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Could Woody Johnson pull a Robert Saleh all over again? How long is the leash on Aaron Glenn entering year 2? We'll get into that and react to some new comments from a Jets insider on that very topic. Omari Brown's going to join me, plus a very cool announcement at the start of the show. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Jets, let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show presented by PrizePicks. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in to all the content on the YouTube channel this week and everyone who's listened to all the extra radio I've been doing the past 2 weeks. Got another show today from 1 to 3 as I fill in for Michael K over on ESPN New York. So make sure you watch the show on the ESPN New York YouTube channel or listen on 8:80 a.m. or the ESPN New York app. Quick update on the big announcement we made for the Stack GoFundMe. For those who missed it, one of our great listeners who tunes into a bunch of your favorite Jet shows, my show, Nick Shine, name a Jet content show, and you'll see Stack in the comments. He serves in the armed forces. His military base was attacked this past weekend. He's okay, thankfully, but he lost everything, computers, clothes, you name it, all his personal items. So we're trying to help Stack get back on his feet. Shout out to all the Asmaniacs who contributed. We've raised, as of this morning, almost $2,500 in less than 2 days. So you guys are the best. We set a goal of $5,000. If you want to contribute, the link is in the description, and I will make sure to put it in the live chat for those of you who are watching the show and want to support one of our own. Before we bring on our guy, Omari Brown from JetX, I want to share with you guys a clip from my interview with Mike Greenberg, Greeny of ESPN yesterday. Of course, Greeny known for being one of the biggest Jet fans in all the media. And it turns out Mike Greenberg is also an Asmaniac.
The Jets will always be first and foremost. And I can tell you, I have enjoyed listening to your podcast on my drive back from golf last fall during the season. I would listen a lot of times because I used to listen to a lot of like political talk, on podcasts and stuff, and it has just become impossible. It's so depressing that it's impossible it doesn't pass the time in a nice way. So I found your podcast and I would listen to it a lot and I really enjoyed it. And I agreed, candidly, I found myself agreeing with a lot of your perspectives last year. I was very down on the coach and I know you got a lot of flack for that, but I thought you were absolutely right and everything. So I as we usually are in the summer, I am a little bit hopeful. I think the Jets were not nearly as bad from a talent perspective as their performance was a year ago. And I hope with more adequate offensive coaching from Frank Reich and more adequate defensive coaching from Glenn himself and a team that doesn't give up halfway through the season, which is, you could debate whether that was the right or wrong thing to do. I'm hopeful the Jets will take a significant step forward this year. But to answer your initial question, what would I do? What will I do someday when the Jets win the Super Bowl? I would love to be able to tell you. It will be different. It will definitely be different for me than this was.
Well, one, I appreciate the kind words about the podcast. And two, I mean, think about what you said, though. You used to listen to political talk stuff, but it was so depressing. You started listening to a podcast about the Jets who haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, and that was somehow more uplifting.
That's just how depressing the state of things are in politics. No, by politics, I just mean like general interest stuff.
Yep.
Sometimes my brain just wants to get a little bit away from sports because it feels like work. And having done this now for 34 years, but the Jets, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was scrolling through. I actually just searched one day Jets podcasts, and I found yours, and I liked it, and so I probably listened to 3 days a week before the golf season ended. That's really the only time I'm in a car anymore. That's when I would listen, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope that the conversation is a little more cheerful as this season gets going.
Mike, really appreciate your time. Hope you have a great rest of your summer, and hopefully it's a better season for the Jets. So if you're listening to the show on podcast or YouTube, you actually get a happy Jake Asman reacting to a Jets game for once.
With the Asmaniacs and all of that stuff that you guys have, and you're always, I don't even understand what the contesting is that you're doing, but you're like, you're there's something that one can obviously do to participate in the program that I'm not aware of how to do because I'm technologically incompetent. I'm 58 years old. My daughter was trying to blur the background on the screen that I'm in here talking to you on right now and couldn't do it. The reason that I'm sitting in front of what looks like a backstage at a Broadway play, all these hanging bags are behind me like we've got like a theater closet behind us, is because my daughter moved in with us for the summer because her lease expired and she's going to law school in the fall. So my wife had to take all of the clothing that she keeps in my daughter's closet out of there. And we have it hanging on a rack in my bedroom through the summer to be returned to her closet when Nikki goes to law school next month. So that's why I'm sitting in front of you. So the point that I'm trying to make is, whatever it is you're saying to do, hit a line, come to a thing, whatever it is you can do to win something. I wouldn't know how to do it even if I could, and I can't because I'm driving the car while I'm listening anyway. But one way or another, I do enjoy the show, and I hope that I've heard you very mad, which I have supported greatly. I'm hoping to hear you a lot happier this year, and I'm hoping to be happier myself.
I think we all agree with that one, Mike Greenberg. Shout out to Greeny. Very cool. I had no idea he was a listener of the show, and he's an Asmaniac, which is what it's all about. Let's say hello to another Asmaniac, also one of our favorite people to have on every week. You could check out his work on social media and over at JetX. It's Omari Brown who joins us now. Omari, what's going on, my friend?
Morning, Jake. How's it going? That was awesome. I was smiling the whole time through. I watched it yesterday. That was great. You did a great job, man.
I appreciate that a lot. And for those who want to see the full interview, we talked plenty of Jets with Greeny. He's also a big Knicks fan, so talking about the Knicks championship with him. I posted it this morning. It aired yesterday when I had Greeny on my ESPN New York radio show. Omari, a lot to talk about with the Jets. I mean, let's just start with those Greeny comments. I mean, he's trying to find ways to be optimistic. I think that's how most Jet fans are trying to be, at least at this stage of the summer, get the camp, hope that things could somehow be better. I know there's some who are just rooting for losses right away. I just can't do that. I'll go into the year with an open mind. They start 0-4, then yeah, I understand, tanking and rooting for L's. I get it. But at least going into the year, I'm going to try and be positive and give Aaron Glenn and this regime a chance to win games and prove us wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a little preachy here. I think the cool one of the funniest things that Greeny said yesterday was like, being an optimist and a pessimist, they both cost you nothing, but one feels a little bit better. He said Scott Van Pelt told him that. And that's kind of where you and I are, right? And then also, what I said yesterday to a couple of fans that are just so dead set on tanking, is just like, you're robbing yourself of present joy. This is football, but it's also a little bit more than that for a lot of people, Jake. I know that you go to games, and it's different when you're sitting on X, when you're sitting on Facebook, when you're sitting on Instagram, or whatever medium you choose to consume your team. It's different. But when you go to the games, you're building relationships. I don't know if you go with any family members, but again, like one of my good friends, Petey, he goes with his dad. They've been going for almost 3 decades now. They don't want to go and sit and watch losing. The people, I know Joe Caparoso, he takes his boys. I know Connor Rogers. I know Will. Those guys go. They want you want to feel good. You want to go with your friends. I want to take my wife. You know what I'm saying? My daughter, she's thinking about being a Ravens fan. How can I convince her to be a Jets fan if all they do is lose? So it's a little bit more than that. And also people have to remember too, some people aren't truly happy with their lives. Some people could be in a depressed state, and football genuinely makes them happy. So if they choose to be happy before the season starts, if they want to believe in Aaron Glenn, if you want to get hyped about David Bailey or D'Angelo Pons, or even think that Geno Smith is going to reclaim whatever magic that he was able to get in Seattle, this is the time for you to do that. And I don't think that you should rob yourself of present joy just because you want to play GM and you want your favorite college quarterback to come and man the ship. If you're going to be happy as a Jets fan, I think over the next 6 weeks are the best time to be happy as a Jets fan. Go to as many Jets fans events as you can. We just had Jets Beach Club as Maniacs. We're going to be getting together on August 1st. Now is the time to do that. We have plenty of time to get mad at the coach, get mad at the owner, get mad at the team. Right now, let's just enjoy it. Let's live in the moment and let's be a little happy.
I'm right there with you. And again, no one's saying that this means all is well and we can ignore what happened last year. But I mean, we'll see how they start. They got a winnable game week 1. I've made my thoughts very clear on this show, how big of a game I believe that one to be. So today's topic comes to us from a guy I really like. We've had him on the show a bunch, Brian Costello, who covers the Jets for the New York Post. On the Gangs All Here podcast, Kaz and Ryan Sampson, who we had on earlier this week, they were hosting a training camp preview episode. And this was Brian Costello being asked, would Woody Johnson, if the Jets get off to another miserable start, would he do what he did 2 years ago where he fired Robert Saleh in the middle of the season, 5 games in with the Jets at 2-3? Would Woody be impatient again and make that sort of change? Here's Kaz on that very topic.
I don't think Woody Johnson's going to want to do that again. Saleh was not Woody Johnson's guy.
Yep.
Right? I think you got to remember that Christopher hired him when Woody was in England. That it was the very end of Woody's time in England, but Christopher hired him. I didn't know this well at the time. I've subsequently learned that Woody just really didn't like Saleh. Like he didn't. There was a lot of things that bothered Woody about Saleh. Aaron Glenn is Woody's guy. Like that was the guy. He hired him. He's known him for a long time. When he was a scout with the Jets. Obviously, he was a player. He was at the end of his career when Woody bought the team, but he got to know him as a scout. He really likes Aaron Glenn, and so I think he's going to be hesitant to do a midseason firing, Ryan. I know there's I guess there's some scenario you can come up with. I'm not going to say he can lose every game and keep his job. But if he scuffles early on, if he's, 0-4, I don't think he's getting fired. I don't think it's going to be as quick as the Saleh firing. I think he's got some time here to figure it out.
Look, the bottom line I would say is this. If you're Woody Johnson and the Jets get off to an awful start, what's the point of firing Aaron Glenn at that point? Like if Aaron Glenn becomes dead coach walking, they start 0-4, 0-5. If they look awful, like some think it's possible, given their schedule, where if they lose week 1, you're facing the NFC North. You're facing 3 of potentially the better teams in the league. You could be cooked before you even get to a winnable game in that week 5 matchup at MetLife against Cleveland. If they look that bad, Omari, what would be the point in firing Aaron Glenn? Like, what are you salvaging if you're up to an 0-4, 0-5 start at that point? They didn't fire Adam Gase. Now, that was Chris Johnson, not Woody at that point. But they let Adam Gase start 0-13. They let him ride out the year. Like at that point, losing to me would be in the best interest for the New York Jets. And if that's the case, why not keep the guy who started 0-7 and finished 3-14 in his first year? He's your path to potentially getting the number 1 pick in the draft finally after all these years. Plus, Woody Johnson got so much blowback when he fired Saleh 5 games in. And in hindsight, it was a terrible move, and it made the Jets look awful. And the PR that Saleh got from it after the Jets collapsed with Ulbrich and looked even worse. And then Saleh goes unscathed. They blamed it all on Woody, blamed it all on Rodgers, blamed it all on everyone but Saleh. He easily gets another head coaching job after 1 year of being a DC. I feel like if you're the Jets and you want to make your job attractive for Tomlin, McDermott, KOC, whoever the top coaching candidate is, just letting Aaron Glenn get 2 full years. If he goes out there and has 5 or 6 total wins through his first 2 years and you fire him, no one can say you didn't give him a fair chance. They'll look at the record and say, yup, I understand why even the Jets, of course, had to make this change. So I hope Woody doesn't fire Aaron Glenn in the middle of the year, because I just don't know how productive that would be. If they fire him midseason, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people from the outside being like, oh, they never gave him a chance. He needed more time. Look how bad the Jets have been, which is not true. But, people will say it, and perception sometimes can be a reality. I think it's in the best interest to actually just let Glenn coach the entire year and then evaluate him And if you already know he's getting fired, great. Then he might be able to help you get the number 1 pick. And as Geno Smith led the Raiders to the promised land, maybe Aaron Glenn and Geno could do that a year later.
Yeah, I'm right with you. I think the firing of Robert Saleh turned him into some kind of sympathetic figure. I was listening to an AFC South podcast, and both speakers said that Robert Saleh didn't get a fair shake in New York. And I was just looking around like he didn't get a fair shake. I mean, he was fired early, but there's a ton of things that we could point to that Robert Saleh misstepped with. We don't even have to get into the Saleh, but I'm with you, Jake. I think if he starts off, listen, we said the reason that we're saying that week 1 is such a must-win game because the NFC North is going to be a gauntlet. I think that they're going to beat up on each other, and that could potentially be one of the best divisions in football. So you have to start off on the right foot. But again, they're going to be retiring Chris Johnson's number. Emotions are going to be high. That's going to be a tough game on the road. Second-year QB, new OC, new head coach. Those guys are going to be fired up. And also a lot of those guys used to be former Jets as well, too. So there's going to be some extra juice for that game. So again, you have to come out, you have to look prepared. But if Aaron Glenn starts off 1-5, if he starts off 1-6, Jake, I'm right there with you. I don't think that there's any incentive to let him go because you're not going to salvage the season. All right. You're not going to what are you trying to salvage? You're trying to salvage Geno Smith? Or are you trying to salvage Garrett Wilson? I mean, I don't really know what you're trying to salvage. You might as well just take your medicine. And I think that Aaron Glenn should be, if we have to sit and watch these games and do pre-games and post-games for 17 weeks, Aaron Glenn should have to prepare for 17 weeks as well, too. All right. We all have to go through this humiliation ritual together. He doesn't get an easy out if he starts off and this is just a complete train wreck. So I'm right there with you. There's no benefit and there's zero incentive to firing a head coach. And then it's also about optics, what you said as well, too. How is this going to look to if you're trying to attract a young offensive-minded coach? Or why would whatever hot name is out there? I'm sure people are going to be talking about Nate Schillhouse and Grant Udinski and all those other young guys that are offensive-minded. Why would they want to come here if the last 2 coaches were fired mid-season when things got a little rough?
Totally agree.
And you have to turn things around. I feel like Dan Campbell is an outlier, but you have to look at what the Detroit Lions were before he and Brad Holmes took over. They were terrible their first year. And then they actually started off pretty terrible their second year, and then they were able to turn it around. So again, it's really hard to use Dan Campbell as a model of success because I feel like that just doesn't happen often. But again, they could start off 1-3, 1-4, and still be building towards something else. And I truly don't think people understand how long it takes to really rid the identity of the previous regime and the previous coaching staff. What did Harrison Phillips say at the Super Bowl last year? That Aaron Glenn was dealing with group that was, I believe the word he said was cantankerous, or they were basically fighting against him from the inside. So I think I truly think people don't understand how much a mentality and a mindset can take over a locker room. You have to filter a lot of that out. So they've been able to filter a lot of that weak-minded section of the team out. So now hopefully you'll see a new mentally tougher team that can handle adversity a little bit better. So maybe they can overcome starting 1-3 because we all saw that group, they couldn't. Like you look back at the Miami game, Jake, after the fumble by Braylon Allen. Didn't you know that group gave up? Like you can kind of see it. There were times where things would just happen and you just knew, okay, yeah, they're going to give up. Even after every
time there was adversity, they folded.
They folded every time. And even after Will McDonald, I was watching Netflix Quarterback. Even after Will McDonald blocked the kick and he ran down there and scored, did you really think that they were going to stop them?
No chance.
No chance. And if we know that as fans, don't you think the guys that are second stringers, don't you think the guys that are just role players are like, yeah, we're not going to get a stop? So again, I think that I don't think that firing Aaron Glenn does anything.
I just think you give him the 2 years and you make the job as attractive as possible. You don't have any drama of, oh, well, the last 2 head coaches that worked for Woody, they didn't even make it through a full season. In that current year, Glenn only got a year and a half. Saleh got fired only 5 games in when they were going to play for first place. Like all these narratives that people could paint, ignoring the context of Saleh being in his 4th year or Glenn looking as bad as you could look for any first-year coach that actually kept his job in recent memory, besides maybe like Hugh Jackson. Like that's the comp for Glenn, unfortunately, as far as just what we saw, the point differentials, the turnovers or lack thereof for the Jets, of course, with the interceptions. It's a real thing. So look, that's what we would do. We're using logic. Woody Johnson is going to be 80 years old soon. He could be impatient. He could be just he could be all in on Aaron Glenn, and I do think he genuinely likes him, but that could change, right? If he just keeps losing, eventually Woody Johnson is going to be like, I like you, but we're not winning games here. Last year, you tried to blame it all on Justin Fields. Well, who's going to get the blame this year? They fired the whole coaching staff besides the special teams. Like, it's going to be on the head coach, you would think.
Yeah, and now there's really nowhere. It's like they put him on for my corporate people out there, it's like they put him on a PIP plan, performance improvement plan. You get a warning, when your output and your production is starting to slip, you get a warning. So now there's nobody else to blame. If the defense doesn't look good, Jake, it's his fault. If the offense doesn't look good, it's Frank Reich's fault, but it's also his fault because you chose Frank Reich. So there's nowhere to turn. There's no scapegoats. You have to look in the mirror and you just have to say, okay, maybe I'm just a little bit overmatched. The only thing that I disagreed with Greeny, and Jake, we didn't talk before going into last year. Did you really think that team was that talented? Yes, they had individual guys that individually were good. You had Sauce, had a lot of accolades, Quinnen Williams, but their number 2 receiver was Josh Reynolds or Alan Lazard. Like, did you truly think that team was talented?
I thought defensively, the fact that they had 9 of their 11 starters back and they hired Glenn, who was a defensive coach, I expected a lot more from the defense. And I thought that, well, they should be able to run the ball. We liked their O-line. We thought Fields would have a real plan in place to design an offense around his skill set of what he could do. We never saw that outside the opener. Like, it's like they just completely went away from all the things that worked that day against Pittsburgh. But I'm with you. I didn't think they were that talented, but I did think they were going to be better than obviously the 3 wins that we saw. I thought they were going to be better coached, and that was going to lead to them winning more than the 5 games they won that final year with Rodgers, Saleh getting fired, and then Ulbrich being in over his head, taking over. So I kind of agree with part of what Greeny was saying and part of what you're saying. I think I'm more in the middle of both you guys.
Yeah. No, and that's fair because maybe by that point I was just so down and out on Saleh and just a pessimist at that point. I said, I don't see how this is going to work. I know that the mindset of bringing in Wilkes is because he took over a solid defense in San Francisco after he departed. But again, none of those guys fit a read and react system. So I had little faith and I had little hope that they were going to be good. So it's just shocking. I think that we're going to actually see. I think this is going to be a good determination of what he is, and we're going to find out really early. By week 7, Jake, we're going to have an idea of how soon we should start preparing for 2027. And it wouldn't shock, to be honest. I said that they're going to start off 2-0. Just right now, I'm just feeling a little bit good, but I do see lanes for them to start out 2-0. But I could definitely see them starting out 0-4. And I'm coming on here every Wednesday or Thursday or whatever the schedule is. And Jake is like, hey, so what do you think about those college quarterbacks? Did you watch on Saturday? So I'm fully prepared for both, honestly.
Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Short show today. Only one live Jake Asman show featuring me today. So here's the raffle prize, right? Mike Greenberg, if you're listening out there, the way to enter an Asmaniac raffle is you gift a channel membership or you send in a $10 super chat or higher to qualify. Raffle tickets are $5 a pop. However, the threshold for super chat is $10. That will get you 2. We're going to give away a Jets jersey today. You can pick the player you want. Garrett, Brees, Geno, DeMario, any of the Jets first-round selections. David Bailey, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq. And if you don't want a current player, how about a Jet Legend jersey? That's right. You pick the Jet Legend you want between Namath, Klecko, Revis, Mangold, Keyshawn, Krebet. We got it all in stock for you. So you pick the player you want, current or past, and we send to you. The only caveat is we need at least 20 names on the Wheel of Champions to spin the wheel at the end of the show, and we're already making progress. Azzy, the first to enter the raffle today by gifting 1 channel membership. He's playing to win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game.
By the way, I had Herm Edwards on the radio 2 days ago now, posted the interview yesterday on the YouTube channel. For those who want more Jet content, you can listen to the Mike Greenberg interview. You can listen to the Herm Edwards interview. Both are now up on the Jake Asman YouTube channel under the video tab. How about this from Mike DeRamo? He's paying it forward with 5 gifted memberships. Let's go, Mike.
Jet up. Let's go.
That's 5 names on the wheel for Mike Duramo, plus 1 that we got from Azzy. So that's 6 of the 20 we need to get us there. How about 7? Colin Wolford gifting a membership to his fellow Asmaniac. He now is in the Asmaniac raffle for 1. Give him a hug, Woody.
I hug him every day. I hug him every day.
Here's what we do know, too, Omari. The second Woody stops giving the daily Aaron Glenn hug, that's when Aaron Glenn should be worried about his job.
For sure. For sure. If you're not getting a hug from your boss, then things are, you got to watch out. You got to start looking over your shoulder. It must be an uncomfortable feeling to come to work when you're like 0-7 and show up and say hi to everybody, man. That's not a place that I would want to be, man.
No, I would not want to be there either, but unfortunately we've been there many times as fans. And so it doesn't feel that great in that respect either.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Listen, has any Knicks or Jets fan had a better summer than you?
Well, I mean, the Knicks winning all is tremendous, but
you got to go to a ton of games. You got to see the comebacks.
No, believe me, I'm grateful for the Knick run, and I just hope if the Jets are awful, like my fear is this is not going to be a good year. I just hope that the Knicks winning will at least calm me down a little bit. It's not going to completely erase the feeling of being a Jet fan and having a miserable year, but I just hope it helps me a little bit.
You know what the Knicks did, though? It did help me for the June swoon with the Yankees, because it hasn't bothered me as much as it would in the past.
You're 1,000% right about that. Comments, questions, super chats. Cut the line. Cashmere says, what player do you think will surprise on the 2026 New York Jets? I don't know if he's a surprise anymore, but I'm buying some of the hype with A.D. Mitchell.
Yeah, same. A.D. Mitchell. All right, so I feel like that's an easy one. We're all doing that. I really like Mason Taylor. Not to be, like a Colston Loveland or a Tyler Warren. I just think he's going to be I would look at him as and this guy's a Hall of Famer too, but just the style of play. Jason Witten, just move the chains, be dependable. I think he's going to be a good third down, reliable option. I don't think that he's going to be, like a Trey McBride. I don't think that that's his game. If anything, that could potentially be what Kenyon Sadiq develops into. But I think Mason Taylor is going to surprise a lot of people. I know some people are down on him. I'm not sure why. He's a second-round pick, and I think he just turned 22. So I think Mason Taylor is going to be a breakout star for camp. And breakout meaning that he's always open. He's taking advantage of his mismatches, and he's just going to be a good safety blanket for Geno.
I like that answer a lot. I'll give you another one. T'Vondre Sweat. I'm high on him. I think he's going to be playing well. He's got Carl Dunbar, proven veteran defensive line coach, helping him. He's got Harrison Phillips there as a mentor. David Onyemata there as a mentor. They got good veterans in that room for a young ascending player to just be focused and take the next step. I think he's going to be very good.
Yeah, and I'm going to take it a step further. I think the interior D-line might be the second or third best positional group after the O-line on the team. Just like you said, there's a mix of young guys. You got the two elder statesmen in Onyemata and Phillips, and then you got 2 young guys that are going to be emerging soon. And then you have a young guy in Darryl Jackson Jr. who can probably redshirt, or he can start playing in the second half of the year, and he can look towards somebody that he can literally model his game and his career after in Onyemata. So you got Juwan Briggs, T'Vondre Sweat, Harrison Phillips, David Onyemata, and Darryl Jackson Jr. with Carl Dunbar, and that's just for the interior. So that should make the edge group play even better. So interior D-line, I think, is going to be one of the best units in the AFC. That's my big hot take.
Lou B checking in. He just celebrated a birthday the other day, and he's drinking the Jet Kool-Aid, folks. Jets wild card bound. From your lips to God's ears, Lou B. Jets, let's go. Shout out to our guy, Lou B. Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. 2 from the champ. Chef Kevin says, good morning, Jake and Omari. Can't wait to see y'all next week at training camp. Just curious if Omari plays blackjack like my guy, Robbie Sabo. Let's go, Jets. Can't wait to see you, Chef Kev, and all the Asmaniacs at our annual training camp meetup at the Cloverleaf Tavern. RSVP if you're coming. It's a free event. Links in the description. Omari, you play any blackjack?
I do not, but I would have played. So next year, I'm definitely going to stay and hang out with you guys out. So you guys will have to teach me. But no, I don't play. But I'm a good supporter from the sidelines, though.
I like that.
Yeah,
big time supporter.
Yeah.
Big time supporter. Ladies and gentlemen,
who thought Robbie would get fired up?
That was crazy. For those who missed the show yesterday, Robbie Sabo screaming at me over the blackjack with Wayne Corbett. Not happy that I was yelling at Robbie with Wayne when we were all playing in Atlantic City a week and a half ago. Crazy.
No, that's good stuff. That's good stuff. But yeah, I'll definitely play next year if we all hang back.
Also, should mention this, Jets Collective. We taped our latest episode yesterday. It was a full training camp preview. Check that out on the Jets Collective YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Great insight from Samini. BT brought the passion. Really good overview of the state of the Jets on our latest Jets Collective episode. And Jamal Adams actually responded to one of Rich's comments on a specific role for Jamal with the Jets if they were to bring him back. So Jamal is now a friend, so to speak, of the Jets Collective podcast. So think about that. Big shout out to Mike Doramo, who gifted 5 memberships earlier. Says, I listened to both the Herm and the Greeny interview. I volunteer to give Greeny personal instructions on the in and outs of the Jake Asman show. The amount of people that texted me or messaged me something along the lines of, imagine Greeny talking to Beast, which made me laugh every single time someone brought that up, because that would be unreal to fathom.
Yeah, but that would be the epitome of a Jake Asman show, though. You go from Mike Greenberg to the Beast, and that's what you get. The full gamut, the full spectrum here.
The full experience.
For
full
sure.
maniac experience.
For sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, a lot still to get into with Omari. So Brian Costello also had this to say about Aaron Glenn. I'm going to play it and then tell you why I think a lot of what Kaz is saying here is very much misguided.
I think in fairness to Aaron Glenn, when we all talk about the Jets, we pretty much talk about 2027, right, as like the time that it can change.
Sure do.
I guess other than Kerry Rhodes on the show, none of us are really talking about them winning 10 games this year. I think the conversation, and when I see smart Jets fans online, when they're talking about it, it's like, hey, can they somehow win 7 or 8 games? Like, that feels like, to me, that's like the dream scenario right now, is like, can they somehow get there? I feel like that's the one conversation. I think the Aaron Glenn conversation is like in a completely different ballpark. It's like, if they don't win, they need to fire Aaron Glenn. It's not totally fair. I'm not sure. Like, people ask me the number, how many games? I think you just need to see growth from Aaron Glenn this year. Like, certainly there is a number. He can't win 3 games again and keep his job.
Not even 4 games.
I think you need to see some growth.
Yeah.
I think you need to, but like if it's 6 games, I think you need, if you see growth from him, did he do a better job? Can you chalk up any losses to his game management, to how he managed the clock, how he did timeouts, does the defense improve under him this year? Do they actually look like a good defense? Can they turn the ball over? Do they keep the Jets in games? Does Frank Reich have success? Because Frank Reich is the guy he brought in. Does he have success on offense? Does it look like things are turning around this year? I think that's what we're judging Aaron Glenn on. Of course, yes, he needs to win games as well. I'm not saying he can lose every game, but I don't think he needs to win 8 games to save his job. I think if there are 5, 6 wins and it looks like things are turning around and things are going in the right direction, I think he could come back, because to me, everyone's pointing to 2027 already.
I mean, look, couple things I'd like to say. It's not just about a win total for Aaron Glenn. I've been on this from the beginning. Not all win total for teams is the same thing. And I will use the example of the 2019 New York Jets with Adam Gase. They started 1-7. They then had a 6-2 stretch to end the year to finish 7-9. Did we look at Adam Gase like he figured things out? Like, we got our coach, right? Then you fast forward to 2022. The Jets win total that year was 6.5. They finished 7-10. Do we look back at 2022 and think, wow, it was a big success? No, they were 6-3 and then 7-4 and then proceeded to collapse and finish losing their last 6 and finishing 7-10. So your expectations change based on what you're watching. It's not just a blanket win total number and Glenn's safe, Glenn's gone. If it's around 6 or 7, if he gets to 8, probably no matter how it looks, he's coming back, because no Jet coach has won more than 7 games since 2015. The last time they had a winning record, 10-6 that year. So I think 8, he's definitely safe. but I think there's a lot of nuance to any number less than that. If it's 6 or 7, if it's 5 or fewer, he should go. It's the NFL. You play 17 games. Even if he wins 6, I believe he should go. That's why I disagree with Kaz. Part of the reason why a lot of Jet fans are only talking about this team winning 7, 8 games as like the barometer is because we don't have faith in the head coach. If you told me the Jets had Harbaugh coaching them, or they had Sean Payton coaching them, or insert a coach that you think is good, you wouldn't have the same expectation for the Jets this year. The reason why the expectations are low is because of how bad it looked for Aaron Glenn in his first year. If they had a different coach, we'd feel differently. I think most of us agree. They actually have some good players on this team, good players on offense. We like the skill players. We like the O-line. They have Breeze. They have Garrett. They added some players to the defense. David Bailey was the number 2 pick. A big reason why the expectations are what they are and the win total for the Jets at all the sports books is 5.5 is because Aaron Glenn looked as bad as any coach we've seen that actually kept his job and wasn't fired at the end of the season. That's a big reason why the expectations are so low.
I'm in lockstep with you. I think that he has a lot that he has to prove. And the nuance has to be, it can't just be wins because they could play against some teams. I know they play some divisional games. Let's say if Buffalo is, wrapped up the division or New England's wrapped up the division and they are resting their starters. And let's say he has 4 wins and he wins those games. And next thing you know, it's 6 wins. That's not the same as having 7 wins and you lose 3 of those 1-possession games. That's the type of wins that I think means something. And we all know, just like you said, it never really carries over. You remember the Rex game when they won and they carried Rex off and he came back? That didn't really, translate over into next year. What I need to see is the preparation, Jake. The preparation has to be there. I think from week to week, the Jets just didn't look prepared. They didn't look ready to play. Week 2 in Buffalo, they got their doors blown off. I think every week I want to see a prepared team ready to go from the onset. That's one thing. The defense has to have an identity, and I'm just going to keep saying this. What is the identity of this defense? Are you going to be opportunistic? Are you going to be bend don't break? Are you going to be uber aggressive and blitzing more than 50% of the time? There has to be an identity, right? And there has to be a plan and everybody has to be on the same accord. And the offense, you're basically giving the offense over to Frank Reich. I'm just sick and tired of this being an offensive league and the Jets just looking like they're still stuck in the 1940s trying to run, the veer or the wing tee or something like that. Just enough is enough. The game is literally set up, Jake, now for offenses to be successful. And for some reason, the Jets just can't figure it out. They haven't been able to figure it out in the last 10 years. They had little spurts and it seems like it always comes against the Cincinnati Bengals. But again, there's a lot of things that need to go into that. And I disagree with Kaz. I just think 5 or 6 wins is just not enough. It's just not enough. And if Woody does want to bring that back and just keep some continuity, because you don't just want to keep cycling out regimes and messages and systems. So I it would have to be, if he only wins 6 games, I'm talking we have to be in 4 of those games, 4 of those losses, of those 11 losses need to be fourth quarter, 1-possession games where the Jets had an opportunity, they missed a field goal, or, Gino's driving and he throws an interception. It has to be something like that. There has to be competitive football, and it can't be Halloween, Jake, and we're already talking about, all right, on to 2027. It has to look better. The standard has to be higher.
Again, they won 7 games with Adam Gase. They won 7 games twice with Robert Saleh. How is 6 wins going to show us improvement? Because they went from 3 to 6. They were not a 3-win team last year with the talent. They were so bad coaching wise that's why they only won 3 games. That's why Aaron Glenn hired the worst coaching staff I've ever seen, minus Chris Banjo and the special teams coaches. Like, that's the reality, man. 6 games. Come on, man. They win 6 games, you should go. 7 is the number where I think it's debatable depending on how it looks. Is the reason why they only had 7 because Gino got hurt late in the year and Klubnik was just in over his head? Is the reason why they only have 7 because, the offense was just putrid, but the defense was awesome? Like, Saleh saved his job because at least he was an expert on his side of the ball. Glenn's taking over the defense here. Fix the defense, man. You called it your superpower. That quote's going to age horrifically if this defense goes out there and they're as bad as they were last year with Steve Wilks. And again, I'm not just going to blame Steve Wilks. Glenn's the head coach who's a defensive-minded guy. Fix your unit, man. Again, For all the issues we had with Robert Saleh, the Jet defense was good under him. That matters. Like, be good with what you're supposed to be good at. And he put the pressure on himself by saying play calling is his superpower. So let's see it. Save your job by being the reason why the Jets are winning some games. And if you're just outmanned because Geno Smith is not good anymore and you're dealing with a division with Drake May for 2 games and Josh Allen for 2 games, all right, we'll be reasonable here. I'm not demanding a playoff year, but I sure as hell am demanding more than 6 wins to be like, yep, I'm keeping Aaron Glenn when my job is one of the most attractive jobs in the NFL in theory. 3 first-round picks, $100 million in cap space, not 10 other openings around the league to compete with you. Like, I need to know Glenn's the guy if I'm bringing him back. If I don't know, I'm moving on because I could get someone I guarantee would take this job that'd be better. Guarantee it.
Those numbers are atrocious, and I'm going to pick out a few things, just like you said, Jake, that need to happen. That need to happen, even if he wins 7 games, that he's going to be back. So one, I'm sorry, you brought in and I keep saying this, you brought in professional guys that are run stoppers. This team needs to be top 12 against the run, Jake. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And I like what they did there. I thought they did the right thing with who they brought in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So now it has to be, now it has to show itself on the field. So I need them to be top 12 against the run. I need them to be top 15 in run stop percentages, all the metrics that everybody loves. They need to be top 12 at something, because I don't know if they're going to be able to improve on that, but they were dead last. So I don't want to see like an incremental improvement, Jake. I don't want them to go from 25th in yardage or points per game or dead last to like 24th. There needs to be incremental improvement. They need to be in the top half of the league. And in most of them, put that graphic back up, in most of those categories. In order for if you win 6 or 7 games, in order for you to come back, and points per game, you need to be top 20. Yardage per game, top 15. Yeah, passing touchdown, you can't give up 36 passing touchdowns. That number has to drop by, I won't go crazy and say half, but at least by 15. And total QBR, we have to be better. Hopefully they're able to get more pressure on the QB. But against the run, teams just can't gash you throughout the run. I think they gave up 138 yards rushing per game. You could check me on that. I'm sure the chat will check me on that. But again, that has to be near tops in the league. You have to pick out something and say, hey, listen, we are going to stop this. You're not going to be able to just play against us on Sundays and just be able to run the ball. You got to pick something out. And the team has to have an identity. There was no identity last year. You just have to hang your hat on something right now. And I'm trying really hard to be objective and give Aaron Glenn the benefit of the doubt, but there's nothing that I can truly hang my hat on outside of he made a tremendous hire in Chris Banjo, and guys all say the right thing about him and they like him as a guy. That's not enough.
And I'll tell you something that I saw the other day that almost made me puke. So Warren Sharp had a stat, and I'll put it up on the screen for everyone to see here, right from Twitter. Offensive snaps with the lead in 2025. The Jets had 66 total snaps with a lead last year. Think about that. The next closest to them, the New Orleans Saints at 126. Think about that. The next closest were the Saints at 126. The Raiders, they had the lead for 140 snaps. And you look at some of the teams here, and this is clearly an important stat because the only outlier you see, the star next to a team's name, means they made the playoffs last year. The only outlier are the Panthers, and they had an outstanding defense, and they play in a trash division, which helped them make the playoffs as a team, I believe, that had an 8-9 record. So if you think about it, this is an important stat here because all the teams that make the playoffs, Steelers, Bears, Bills, Packers, Broncos, Chargers, Niners, Eagles, Rams, Texans, Jaguars, Seahawks, Patriots, look at the number of snaps that they play with a lead and then compare that to the Jets. This has to change. They were being boat raced by teams for most of last year.
I mean, it's insane that the discrepancy between the Raiders, who had the number 1 overall pick, and the Jets, who had the second pick, is that wide. That's insane. That's tough watch. That's a tough watch. So that needs to be middle of the pack as well too. That's insane. Carolina got lucky, man.
Carolina did get lucky, I guess. Crazy. What a world. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the lines. Take some calls. Omari Brown hanging out with us here. The link is pinned in the comments. Let me give some love to Green Gang for gifting 5 channel memberships. Hey now. Only one show today, folks. So make sure you get in on the giveaway. It's a Jets jersey of your choosing. If you want a current player like Garrett Wilson or David Bailey, or a Jet legend like Joe Namath or Joe Klecko, that and other options are available for you. The weekly raffle is going to be Saturday, and we have a boatload of awesome prizes. Please enter, folks. I need to get rid of some of this stuff that's sitting on shelves in my apartment here ahead of the new season because I've ordered so many prizes already for September and some of the giveaway, some of the events. So I need more entries in our raffle so some of you could help clean up my apartment by winning some stuff. Darrelle Revis signed Enzo Pylon, Chad Pennington signed jersey, Breece Hall signed helmet, Vinny Testaverde signed jersey, Nick Mangold Legends jersey, or any Jet legend of your choosing. Crash Jet says Flow State. Aaron says Unk Alert. Fred Perez says Unk Alert. Still haven't figured out what this gem stuff is, but thank you to everyone who continues to watch the show. Before we get into some of your calls and some other Jet topics, a quick word from my friends at Circa.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
We'll be out in Vegas for contest weekend again, broadcasting our show from Circa's Media Row. The Circa Million, $6 million guaranteed, $1,000 entry. You pick 5 teams against the spread every week. The winner takes home $1 million with quarterly prizes, season-long prizes, and 126 different ways to win. Circa Survivor has a massive $20 million guaranteed prize pool. You pick 1 team to win each week, use each team only once, and survive all the way to the end for a shot at life-changing money. You must register in person at Circa Sportsbook in Nevada, but after that, you can submit your picks from anywhere through a registered proxy. Join me in Vegas at Circa August 27th through the 29th for their annual contest sign-up weekend. Sign up in Nevada, play from anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, how about this that just came through the pipeline from Matt L., a 10-spot Matt L. Jet fan in the Asmaniac raffle for 10 entries. And with that, we are officially spinning the wheel of champions at the end of this show. Let's go. If you hear your name, these are for Matt. Who Dat Fam, Capsule Boy, Chris Chill, Sky's the Limit, TB, Dylan Dryan, John Stell, John Nolte, Brian Rapp, and Beast. Make sure you take a shower. That's an interesting name right there. Hit the like button if you're just joining us. Omari Brown hanging out with us. So Omari, PrizePicks has updated their line for David Bailey, who I want to get your thoughts on, because for a number 2 pick, it feels like he is flying under the radar. The new line on Bailey for his sack number with PrizePicks is 5.75. And I figured out finally why it's 5.75. It's because the real number PrizePicks is projecting him to have is 5.5. So you're splitting the difference here between 5.5 or 6. So when you look at that number there, would you go more or less on Bailey in year 1 with the Jets?
I'm going more. I got him right at 7. I think he's gonna play 60% of the snaps. So he's gonna get. I think he and Will McDonald. I think they're gonna combine for 20 sacks. Yeah, I've already said that. I love their chances. I think the Jets are gonna be playing with the lead, and just like we alluded to earlier, they're gonna be able to stop the run. So 2nd overall pick, one of the best analytical profiles from an edge rusher in the last 10 years. I'm expecting pass production from David Bailey, and I also think that Aaron Glenn is gonna put him in some favorable matchups, just like he was able to do with Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not saying that David Bailey is Aiden Hutchinson, but I do think from a pass rushing standpoint, I do think that he is one of the, pro ready edge rushers that we've seen over the last couple of years. So I think that's easy money. I think a lot of these are easy money. The Geno Smith one, I think that's easy money. We're going to run to the bank with that one. And I think the David Bailey, he's going to get us some money as well.
Code HMA, PrizePicks, by the way, new deal for those of you who haven't signed up yet. If you put in $5 and win your first lineup, you turn that into $150 if you use the promo code HMA when you sign up. Click my link that's in the description. It will take you right to the PrizePicks app for you to download and check it out, and you'll be ready to roll. Omari Brown hanging out with us here. We got time for your calls if you want in on the conversation. Lots to talk about. Also, I will be announcing all the nominees for the Azzy Awards during this show. So make sure you stick around for that because I have a bunch of categories to shout out. I'll post the full thing in the Discord afterwards. We'll do our first Azzy Award voting on our program tomorrow morning with Matt O'Leary. So the Azzy Awards are coming back. Take about a week and a half or so to get through all of them. And it's just a lot of fun. Let the community vote on some of their favorite moments and favorite categories throughout the year. And I'll spoil one of them because I mentioned this the other day. The Best Intro Award. You know how hard it was for the committee just to get down to 4 between Chef Kevin, the Rooster, Luppy, and Black Gypsy? It wasn't easy. So these are some of the fun categories that we'll be running YouTube polls for in the annual Azzy Awards. And Omari, I can tell you, you are nominated for one of the awards. You're nominated for the Best Guest Host Award that we have.
Wow, thank you. All right, good. No, I'm honored. I love it.
Hey, thank the community. I had nothing to do with it.
Okay, great. Yeah, well, thank you to the community. Good. Hope to see all of you, a lot of you, next Saturday. We're getting close, Jake. We're getting close.
Can't wait, man.
Getting close.
Favorite co-host award.
Oh,
Robbie
look at
Sabo,
that.
Omari Brown, Joe Blewett, and Frankie V.
Oh man, that's a good one. Hey, listen, that's good company to be in. I like it. That's a funny picture of Frank, man.
Outstanding. Outstanding. Ah, man. In terms of Geno Smith, you said he'll go over on his numbers, and I agree. The PrizePicks numbers are very low. But here's the numbers for Geno Smith last year with the Raiders. When you look at Geno and these numbers he put up, what to you is the easiest thing that you could point to and say, this is going to be far different this year with the Jets? To me, it's the sack number, but I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I was going to go sacks, and I think the yards as well, too. Yeah, I'm going to say the sacks because I think he's going to be able to be protected. I think those sacks might be more in the 30s, the high 30 range, maybe. But I just think that they're going to get rid of the ball really quickly. I think they're going to take deep shots because that's just who Geno is. But I think when you match up the skill sets, Garrett Wilson, he wins quickly. Omar Cooper Jr., eventually he wins quickly. I think Mason Taylor, you're going to be able to dump it off to him. And finally, Jake, hopefully we get some, a high volume of Breece Hall targets. So I think he's going to get rid of the ball quicker. And also with the improved offensive line play, I think the sacks is definitely going to be down. And maybe I'm just a little optimistic. I think Geno's going to have close to 4,000 yards passing.
4,000 yards. Close to it?
I think he's going to be close. He's going to end up somewhere in like that 3,700 range.
If he gets to 4,000, it would be pretty cool just for him to, have the record, considering like Fitz almost had it, but he came up short. Yeah. At least Geno was drafted by the Jets. Namath has the record right now, but it's almost embarrassing that he has it because he did it in a 14-game season in the late 60s. And we love Joe Namath, but think about how different the game is today for that to still be the record. There's now 3 additional games, and it's a passing league. It wasn't a passing league when Joe Willie played.
Yeah, it was, three runs up the middle in a cloud of dust, and Joe Namath was throwing 4,000 yards, and the Jets can't do this in the offensive renaissance or revolution of the NFL. Everybody's putting up ridiculous numbers, and the Jets are still trying to run the ball and have a race to 20. It's frustrating. But yeah, I think the sacks and I think the passing yards are going to be where he really shines. The interceptions, I think the interceptions are probably going to be about the same. They might be a little bit less, but he's still going to take chances. I don't think that you can program that out of Geno at 36 years old. So I think that he'll probably end up somewhere with 19 touchdowns and maybe 13 or 14 interceptions. That's what I'm shooting for. So I think all those numbers across the board are going to be better.
Austrian Jet fan is in the house. He is in the Asmaniac raffle for 1 entry.
Play call is my superpower, really.
Shout out to you, Austrian Jet fan. All right, right now there's only one man that's currently on hold, folks. So if you don't want to see this guy, well, you got to call in and be part of the conversation because right now it's his time. Oh, what's wrong, Beast?
I'm going to be peeing a lot. I got to go introduce Mr. Lizard to the Pizzard. I'm not going to piss all over myself. 5, 11, all right, 1's there. I'll take that. 12, flush.
Put a ring light on.
Only if I'm flushing the toilet and going. go. Put me up for 11. There we go. Blackjack down. There you go. Give me an ace. Give me an ace. Give me an ace. No, I want him getting a 2. The 2's not going to win. You want to win games? Put an ace on the table and a jack on the table. You got to win.
Hey, Beast, what does Aaron Glenn have to do to save his job this year?
Several key elements. 1, forget last year. You get a toilet to that. You can flush that down the toilet. 2, get your head out of your ass. It means pay attention. Learn the basics. Get back to the books. Read your plays. Study your shots. 3, no more fooling around. It's time to say put the phones down. Put them in the locker room. Forget the bullshit. When you get on the field, you leave your drama in the back. Your focus is on the field. That means 75% of it, you keep your ass up here. And 30%, you keep it up here. That's 105%. See, I also remember a line from the Little Giants when the little guy said, football is 80% mental and 40% physical. You know how much that is? That's 120% right there. That's 120. Ding, ding. All you got to do is study the math. Not that hard, folks. It's called the math. It's mathin'. But if you ain't down with mathin', then you ain't got what it takes to be a real man. Go to the books. Ding, 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 ding.
Ryan says, thanks for the math lesson, Scott. Scott Steiner.
Hey, Scott Steiner was a man's man from the University of Michigan. Him and his brother, Rick Steiner, great amateur NCAA amateur wrestlers. Why? Great champions. Worked for the WWF. Worked for the WCW and ECW. And also good friends with who? Taz. Taz was a machine. He knew the game. That's why do you think you figure if you don't study this up here, common sense, you're not prepared for the big time.
Just leave a message. Just leave a message. Thank you.
Hey, Beast, Boy Green is dealing with, can you send him a message?
Everybody wish Boy Green. Oh, shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, my God. Wow. Son of a bitch. Wow. Another card.
He has kidney stones.
I know. Just give me a minute. Just camera.
It's not life-threatening.
Yeah,
Say some kind words,
Beast.
Beast.
I'm just surprised. I mean, that's some scary stuff. Kidney stones. That's not. I know some people that have that, and it's not no walk in no park out there. That's whoo.
It's almost as hard as an ear infection, Beast. We know you're a 3-time ear infection survivor.
I've been down that road before. I ain't doing it again. See, I learned my lesson on that one. See, you got to be prepared at all costs. See, take the high risk. Got to go for broke. Go for bust. If you can't take care of yourself, then you ain't got what it takes to be championship quality or championship material. That's another key element that the boys need to learn. See, there's going to come time when broken backs are introduced. Knees and arms and other forms of your body can take pain. But this time, it's time to put up or shut up. Aaron Glenn's job's on the line. So he better do one of two things. 1, put the bullshit to bed. And 2, it's either you're going to put up or you're going to shut up. Win or you go home.
All right. Thank you for that, Beast. Thankfully, someone else has called in. So we'll do one more call with Omari, and then I'm going to announce all the nominees for this year's Azzy Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a peach Jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
Jake, how are you?
Neil.
How's your summer going, Jake?
Summer's been pretty good, Neil. A little busy this time of year with all the extra radio, but no complaints.
I've been listening. I see you on the radio. Hey, question. Bart's gone, huh?
Yeah, he was part of the layoffs, which is really unfortunate. It wasn't
Jeez.
anything he did. It's just his contract was up in September, and ESPN acquired NFL Network. So they have some of their analysts coming on board. That's why you saw like Tom Pelissero, who's an insider. He was part of the layoffs because it's like redundant to have him, Schefter, and Ian Rappaport. So some of the conspiracy theories on why certain people were laid off and others weren't couldn't be further from the truth, but that's just what actually happened.
Yeah, I know Ryan Clark put a big stink up, right? He was one of the guys getting laid off, right?
He was, yeah. But that was a separate thing from Bart, who was, on TV on occasion, whereas Ryan Clark was on NFL Live every day.
Okay, Omari, great work. I love the show today. Kaz.
Thank you.
Kaz is in a different planet. He doesn't care if we lose for the next 10 years. He really doesn't care. He's the most. I think if the Jets made the playoffs, he wouldn't even get.
Wow.
I look at him.
Oh,
Neil.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me back.
We got
you.
Okay. As far as Glenn coming back, okay. If we're not at least in 24, Jake, we lost a lot of games, by one score, missed field goals, things along those lines. What was our ranking in 24 when Rodgers was there? Do you know what was our rankings and the things that you put up earlier? Do you have an idea? I know that's a tough thing to pull.
What, offensive snaps with the lead?
No. Offense, defense, our rankings, points per game, and all that.
I don't have that off the top of my head.
All right, but my point being is this. If we're not at minimum as good as we were in 24 and points scored per game, points given up, and I know our defense shit the bed at the end of 24, and that caused us a lot of games. My point being, if we can't have at least, say, one-score games, if we win 6 or 7, right? But we lost 3 or 4 one-score games, that's a different conversation. But if we go out there and we're not middle of the pack in defense and offense, when I mean at minimum, like Omari said, at least top half of the league in defense, which is going to be Glenn's side of the ball, then we really have to consider moving on. And I think if we start 0-4, 1-5 in that type of situation, and our offense looks good, really good, and our defense is the reason we're losing, I wouldn't put by Woody to keep Reich as an interim and let Glenn walk the plank. That's the type of thing where we might say, I know we want to change courses. And Omari, the one thing I totally disagree with you is, I do not want another first-time coach. I don't give a shit if it's Einstein, and he's the best offensive coordinator to come out of the league in 20 years. I want established coaches. Could we at least agree on that, guys?
Yeah. I'm more open to the offensive genius instead of like another first-time defensive coordinator. I'll be disgusted if they did that. But I tend to agree, Neil. The preference is someone who's been a head coach before. The problem is Tomlin and McDermott are not offensive guys. So that my dream scenario is Kevin O'Connell.
I get it. But, I would not take if it's Tomlin and we need a coach next year. And, I don't care if offense, defense, he's a head coach.
Agreed.
He's a guy
That's true.
Again, Tomlin to me is the same as like the Knicks hiring Tom Thibodeau to raise their floor and set the culture.
McDermott is not somebody you have to, wouldn't be a good consideration as well. I mean,
he would be.
Anyhow, I think that, I really think we're going to have a great season. If anybody talks about tanking and all this horse shit for draft positioning next year, I just don't want to hear it. I do not want to hear it.
They start 0-3, you're going to hear it.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't say 0-3, but after 5 games, 6 games,
If they're 1-5, you're going to hear it.
Yes.
Yes. When do we hear Chubb for club? How many games do we going to hear that? I mean, if we start 1-5, I guarantee you MetLife is going to be, because Geno is going to have to not play that well if we're 1-5, Jake. Let's face it.
Yeah, I mean, look, you'll hear it. I don't think Glenn's going to do it unless he's forced to do it at that point.
Right.
Like this, he's trying to save his job. And if Cade, who's a 4th-round pick, is coming in that early, I'd be stunned. Like, he's just going to wow them in camp and be ready to go. Like, Glenn's going to stick with Geno as long as he can, because every game is the difference in him potentially having a job next year. Geno gives him the best chance to win.
Yeah, that's true. And look, I can't see it not being a much better situation. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people. And like I said, game 1, that's our Super Bowl, guys, because that's going to determine and set the table on what kind of team we have. And it better be some turnovers. There better be some good things going on. So I'm excited, guys. I'll see you in Tennessee for sure. I don't know if I can make that August 1st thing. I got some kind of email about, from the Jets. If you get an email, I think they gave me an invite because they want me to go back to season tickets. Should I take an invite for August 1st, Jake?
Yeah, take your tickets if you're not using them and give them to me so I can give them to
All
people
right.
who can come to the event.
Okay. I August 1st, what day is that? A Thursday?
That is a Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Oh, it's a Saturday.
The Chef Kevin event is after the practice that morning.
A Saturday. No, I'm not going to give up a Saturday to go to Jersey on a beautiful. We only have a few Saturdays left in the summer. I have to make the best of them.
Yeah,
guys,
with Jet fans.
I know. I loved. Hey, listen, I loved it. It was great. I'm looking forward. We're going to have plenty of opportunities to go to the tavern and meet. I met Chef. I want to go to his restaurant. I can't get that excited about camp. Is that how many practices in is that?
That's the first one that's open.
That's the first.
Yeah, but how many are going to be there beforehand that we're going to hear how things are going?
So they report Tuesday, so they'll practice probably Wednesday, Thursday. They'll probably have a day off Friday or a walkthrough because they'll be ramping them up slowly like every team does now. That'll probably be their 3rd practice.
Okay. So we'll see how it goes. Again, Klubnik is going to get a lot of time in preseason, and if he lights it up in preseason, then we'll be clamoring for him. That's going to happen, but we'll see. I'm excited. Take care, guys.
Neil, send me your tickets if you can't use them, but I hope you can use them because we want you at the training camp meetup of champions, ladies and gentlemen. The great Neil.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Neil, thank you. Bang Mateo with a super chat. Drew Mestamaker is my QB1. It's Mest, Moore, and Arch. I know you like Drew Mestamaker too, right, Omari?
Love him. I think he was the most exciting film that I watched. And for me, and Jake, we'll get into this a little bit later. I didn't want to, I'll post them and then I'll come and talk to the Asmaniacs and just give my thoughts. Drew Mestamaker had the funnest tape. I posted a short eval on Twitter. Actually, you guys can go look that up. I actually should pin that. The biggest question with Drew Mestamaker, there's a couple things, and you're nitpicking. He holds the ball a little bit low. His release is a little bit long, and he played in the American Conference for North Texas. So all of those questions can be answered because he's followed his coach, Eric Morris, to the Big 12 at Oklahoma State. One thing I will say, you know who else Eric Morris discovered? Cam Ward.
Wow.
So Drew Mestamaker is in great hands, and he's in a great situation to step up. And I tell you what, I have Drew Mestamaker ahead of Arch Manning right now. He's phenomenal. When I look at quarterbacks, it's one thing I need to decide. The main question I ask myself is, can I win with these guys at the NFL level? And then the next question is, do I need the supporting cast to lift them up, or are they going to be able to uplift the guys around him? And I saw Drew Mestamaker, Jake. It was wow throw after wow throw after, oh wow, he took that chance, he fit that one in a tight window, and I think he's gonna be one of those guys that can elevate the talent around him. So I am a big Drew Mestamaker fan. I'm gonna be doing some live watch-alongs because week 2, I believe they play against Oregon. So that is gonna be a big. Let me just check that so I'm not talking out of my other end. But Drew Mestamaker looks really good. I think people are a little too hard on Dante Moore and Julian Sand. This is going to be an exciting year for college quarterbacks.
Guys get better. I mean, no one knew who Fernando Mendoza was a year ago, so things can change so quickly in a college season. So you're spot on about that. It's just amazing how many names we've thrown around, and we did this last year, and the guy who emerged was no one knew, Fernando Mendoza.
You know, funny enough, Cade Klubnik was QB1 for a lot of people at this point last year.
He was.
Which is, yeah. So, yes, as Maniac. September 12th, Oregon versus Oklahoma State. We will be seated. So, hopefully, Jake, you can jump on. If you're not busy, we'll do some live watch-alongs.
Love that. Love that. Omari, you're the best. Thanks so much for coming on, as always.
Awesome. Love you, Jake. Later.
Omari Brown with us here. Ladies and gentlemen, get in on the raffle. Again, Saturday's the weekly. We have a great giveaway today. It's a Jets jersey of the player of your choosing. Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Geno Smith, Demario Davis, David Bailey, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, Joe Namath, Joe Klecko, Curtis Martin, Wayne Corbett, Darrell Rivas, Nick Mangold, Keyshawn Johnson. Those are your choices for the jersey giveaway. Dun, dun, dun. Reminder, if you ever missed the show, you can listen in audio form on Apple or Spotify. Just type in Jake Asman Show and spread the word that you can always listen to the podcast on the platform of your choosing. I want to mention this as well. We need people who are going to come to the meetup for the Dolphin game at MetLife, the annual Asmaniac home game meetup. About 30-something tickets have been reserved of the 70 we have allotted. It's first come, first serve for Patreon, folks. A lot of new viewers are going to start watching once camp starts. So if you're an OG Asmaniac and you want to go, make sure you just reserve your ticket. It's $150 a ticket in the lower level, section 146. It includes a post-game field pass. Post-game field pass will have a tailgate in lot L5 before the game. We'll have info on that when we get a lot closer. But if you're going, just reserve your spot and you'll be ready to roll. There's info on how to send me a Zelle, Venmo, PayPal to lock in your ticket. You can only get the link to RSVP if you're on my Patreon or Discord because it's posted there. It's on the dashboard for the Patreon. If you're already a Patreon member and you're in the Discord, you'll see it's posted now in the announcement tab and in the specific tab we made for each of the Jet games this year, all 17 of them plus preseason. Dolphins at Jets. Go to that one for October 25th and you'll see it there. Now, as promised, are we ready to see this year's nominees for all of the Azzy Awards? It's happening. The Azzy Awards. Here are your nominees.
It's time for the Azzy Awards. Gotta get through Jets off season. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna lose? These Asmaniac callers are legends. It's up to the chat. It's your time to vote. You gotta decide who's better. Asmaniacs drive the Jake Asman Show. That's why we gotta have these Azzy Awards.
Oh, yeah. Big thank you to the Human Fund for his amazing work with these graphics. Huge thank you to Boomtown for his masterful job overseeing all these awards. It is not easy. It is a huge undertaking. There's definitely some people who are deserving of some of these awards. We can only have 4 for some of them, so keep that in mind, right? As we're going through all these, you know, we tried to feature as many people as possible in each category here. This is just for fun. There's no prize money you get if you win an Azzy Award. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's go through them. Here we go. The first award, I already mentioned it. The Best Intro Award, Chef Kevin. The Rooster, Black Gypsy, and the Lup Man, Luppy, all nominated for the Best Intro Award. And when we do the voting, if there's a clip that's necessary for a certain award, we'll do our best to play it before we open up the poll voting for people to weigh in and be a part of it. So here we go. That's our first award, the Best Intro Award. Our next award is the Alcohol/Drug-Fueled Mayhem Award. The nominees are Sean, The Dream, Mikey Midnight, and V-Man. Once again, your nominees for the Alcohol Drug Fueled Mayhem Award. The next Azzy Award is Bald is Beautiful. The nominees are NY Jets Florida Ted. He never calls in, but he's always in the chat. And I can confirm the man is bald. Kyle Clifton, the Chuck Wagon, and Ralphie Rocks. Our next award is the Most Memorable Charles Gorman Moment Award. Ladies and gentlemen, these are just over the past year. Chest shaving. Charles becoming a Colts fan. Charles Gorman saying he took a quick nap while also saying he's applying for jobs every day. And Charles, very inappropriate request to listener Rebecca. Those are your nominees for the Most Memorable Charles Gorman Moment Award. Here we go. Our next category is the Biggest Meltdown Award. The nominees are Bobby Midnight, Black Gypsy, Sean, and Beastbreaker. Again, your nominees for the Biggest Meltdown Award. Our next award is Keyboard Warrior. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominees are Stack 87, Chris B, Bill M, and Frank P. Our next award is the Biggest Comeback Award. Bobby Midnight, Artie from Peg and Artie, Big Cho, and Mikey Midnight. Now, if you consider what a comeback means, this means they had to overcome adversity. Could be health related, could be other stuff, to once again be a part of the Asmaniac community and contribute to the show. Our next award is the Most Anticipated Return Award. Allen, JJ, Mets 2128, and Morgan, Gary's Nanny. Again, the nominees for the Most Anticipated Return Award. Our next award, Best Cash Receipt Moment. The nominees are Neil, JJ, Leader of Jets, and Allen. Our next Azzy Award features the Most Opinionated Award. The nominees are Neil, Gary 3D Boxing, Black Gypsy, and Mr. Bonesy. The next Azzy Award is Can't Be Phased Award. The nominees are Big Cho, Chuck Wagon, David T, and Adam is Too Cool. Our next Azzy Award is Greatest Beastbreaker Moment. Bag of Dicks, Bathtub from Hell, Didn't Watch a Jet Game, USPS War. Your greatest Beastbreaker moments, which was impossible to cut down to just 4. Ladies and gentlemen, the Rumble of the Year nominees are Gary versus Black Gypsy, Gary versus Dave Briga, Gary versus Bobby Midnight, and Beast versus Max. All of these happened multiple times over the past year. So it was hard to come up with just how you define each one. These were true rivalries that we've seen play out on the show. And yes, Gary being nominated for 3 of the 4 is objectively hilarious. The nominees now for the Power Couple Award. Party with Peg and Artie, Purple Belt Mike and Purple Belt Wife, Robert C and Tammy C, and Mr. and Mrs. Craig from Australia. Your nominees for the Power Couple Award. Ladies and gentlemen, the Best Takes Award goes to, here are your nominees: Gary 3D Boxing, Kyle Clifton, The Rooster, and Doc Jetfan. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award is the Fall from Grace Award. The nominees are Allen, JJ, Dre Correa, and V-Man. Fall from Grace is a tough term for guys like V-Man and Dre. They just don't regularly call as much as they once did. And thus, according to some on the committee, that means they fell from grace. Our next award is, hey, you're an awesome caller. We need more calls from you. Need more calls award. The nominees are Weenie in North Carolina, last year's runner-up in Asmaniac Madness, the King Lowski, Mets 2128, and Amanda Madison. Our next award is Favorite Co-Host Award. These people come on the Jake Asman Show at least once per week, year-round. So guests like Joe Beningo, who's only an in-season guest, was not eligible for consideration. Ladies and gentlemen, the nominees are Robbie Sabo, Omari Brown, Joe Blewett, and Frankie V, a.k.a. Tanky. The nominees for our next award, the What the F Are You Talking About Award. Your nominees are Beast, Mad Max, Sean, and Scott. Let me tell you, this was not an easy category to get down to 4. Our next Azzy Award, just a few are left. The Class Clown Award. And the nominees are Thunderlips, Jay Quest, Luppy, and Andrew C. The Dream. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award is the Top International Caller. The nominees are Jason in Jerusalem, Australian Jets fan, Craig from Australia, and Daniel Beware from down in Mexico. Our final award is a two-parter. Since this one is arguably the most significant Asmaniac award, we split it up into 2 groups. How it will work is these 2 groups, one will go each day. The top 2 in polling will advance, and then the top 4 from the total of 8 names will all be on one YouTube poll to determine the Rookie of the Year award for this year's Azzies. And the nominees for that award are The Rooster, Mad Max, Doc Jetfan, Mimosa, Amanda Madison, Lou B, Derek, the Kansas Jet fan, and Andrew C, the Dream. To be eligible for this award, you basically had to be regularly calling or a part of the community regularly within the last calendar year. Some people have watched longer, but if they didn't call, didn't contribute, we didn't know. And those are the nominees for the Rookie of the Year award. Again, this was not easy. Tried to include as many people as possible. Thank you to Boomtown for his excellent work, the Human Fund for his excellent work. All these awards are awesome. If you win, great. If you don't, please don't lose sleep over this. I can't deal with another Asmaniac Madness situation where people are screaming and yelling about voter fraud and everything else. This is just for fun. We'll do our first category tomorrow. I got the schedule from Boomtown that I'm going to refer to keep me organized here because this is a big undertaking. The tentative schedule. Tomorrow we'll do the Favorite Co-Host Award on the show. So be ready for that. But here's a look again at all the categories for this year's Azzy Awards. What's your favorite category? Write it in the chat. We're excited to see this play out over the next week and change here on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, let's finish with some of your calls here. Last chance to get in. I got to run down to the station to do one final radio show this week as Michael K returns tomorrow. So I'm in from 1 to 3. Again, Jets jersey giveaway at the end of the show. Make sure you enter for your chance to be involved. Before we get to your final calls, Matt L with a super chat. What section are the Asmaniacs sitting in Nashville? I will be there. Where's the party? Matt, get on my Discord. First things first. All the info will be there for you to keep you organized. And we're sitting in section 110 in Nashville. As far as the parties go, we got a couple of them for you. The big one that I'm throwing is at Barstool Nashville the day before the game. Saturday, September 12th, 4 to 7, doing a live show from there. This event is free if you RSVP. Gangrene pre-party, day before Jets at Titans, week 1 in Nashville. Then the next day, tailgate tickets are available at GameDayFlightCrew.com. I'm part of the tailgate with a bunch of Jet fans, all the Asmaniacs coming through. The exact location will be announced. You'll get all that info sent to you if you buy a ticket. Tailgate tickets are $85. It includes alcohol, food, traditional tailgate games, a live DJ, and more. So that's the tailgate situation. And then there's a pub crawl for those interested. If you go to GameDayFlightCrew.com, that's during the day on Saturday. The last bar will take you right to Barstool, Nashville, so you'll be at the event where the party is. And then we have an after-game celebration at PBR Nashville that game day flight crew put together for fans. If you go to the tailgate in the morning, you get a free appetizer during the first hour at the after party. Hopefully we're celebrating a Jet win. I'll be doing my post game. So check all that out if you guys are coming to Nashville. All the info, again, we've been talking about it for months, but it's on the Discord/Patreon for those of you out there. All right. Right now, we only got time for maybe one more call, and this guy's the only guy on the line before we get to the Wheel of Champions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Extraordinary. Extraordinary. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. It's quite extraordinary. Quite extraordinary. You know women shouldn't vote. Just do laundry and vacuum. Extraordinary.
What's up, Jake?
Hello, Gary.
How's it going?
Going well. Where are you calling us from?
The airport. I'm at the airport.
Are you traveling? Where are you going?
I'm going to New York.
Oh, beautiful. What brings you to New York? You're here for the Belonga fight.
I'm here for the Belonga fight. Yes. Yes.
I've been doing the reads on radio all week. They actually asked if I wanted to interview him, but the timing didn't work. It would have been during this, and I didn't have enough time to pre-record.
Berlang is a fun interview. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed. Like, he'll say literally anything. He's a good guy. He's a really nice guy. I've talked to him a bunch of times. It would be a fun interview, if nothing else.
Hey, when you're in New York and you're at the theater at MSG for this fight on Saturday, just bask in the glory of the world champion New York Knicks that play in that arena. All right.
I will. I totally lost my train of thought now. Omari. He had Mr. Maker as one. He had Drew Mr. Maker as one, or what was I caught it late. What was his?
He likes him a lot. He's doing film breakdown on all the guys so far, and he's very high on them.
Do you know that he's friends with Morgan? Like, Morgan's boyfriend and Drew went to UNT the same season. Yeah, and like, Morgan's boyfriend was above him on the depth charts because Drew never played high school football. So, like, he didn't understand why this guy was on the team. And then after the first day of practice, Morgan's boyfriend was like, oh, shoot, I'm never going to play. Like, this is like the best quarterback I'd ever seen. Right? And he didn't even play high school football. It was crazy. His backstory is crazy. He was a kicker in high school. He didn't play quarterback. Okay. And then who did he have higher, Moore or Arch? Did he have Arch at 3 or Moore or Stain? What was his...
I don't want to misquote him. I don't remember his exact list, but we're going to do a separate episode at some point where he comes on and goes in detail, breaking down these quarterbacks. Because unfortunately, as you called the radio show yesterday, we don't exactly have the highest hopes for the Jets. So there's going to be a lot of focus on the 2027 quarterback class.
I don't want to be, I know that's coming, but I don't want to be talking Arch or Moore or Sayin or Mr. Maker in October. But I know that's coming. I know that's coming. It's going to be. We're going to be doing tape on those guys in October, but it is what it is. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to – what was Greenberg's quote? Optimistic and pessimistic cost the same thing, and optimistic is more fun. I'm trying to go with that.
It's a great quote, yeah.
I'm going to go with that. Oh, the interview you did with Turtle. I meant to tell you, the interview you did with Turtle last week was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Jerry Ferrara was great.
Do you have a preference at this point, or is it too early for you? Of the 4 quarterbacks, do you have a preference?
I want Arch. I want his last name is Manning. I want him. Like, he's gonna get. I know he's gonna be able to handle New York. He's gonna have his uncles there to help support him and teach him, and I want him. The way he played the last 6 games of the year, you're a Longhorns fan. That looked like an NFL quarterback to me.
If he would have went this year, I think he would have went number 1, which is to say that he would have went over Moore. Right? For me, it's Arch or Moore.
I don't like Moore. I have very big concerns about Moore's immaturity, or just he's young. I don't know. I don't look. Something. I don't. I'm not saying he's bad. I was thrilled given where the Jets are at. He went back to school. I want to see more from Dante Moore.
Well, that's why it's a good thing he went back to school, because the only thing I didn't like about him is there wasn't a lot of tape on him. He just hadn't played a lot of football. So
I want to see more from him. Pun intended.
I want to see more from Moore. I'm not a big fan of saying, like, he would be 4th on my chart. I mean, I guess I would take him if we picked 4th. How much would you be willing to trade up? I mean, would we trade all our – if we finish 10th, which is like where I think we're going to be, 6-11, 5-12, we're not going to be at the bottom. How much, like, would you be willing to trade up to get Arch? Like, all of our picks in the first round? Or what? Like, what would you be?
how many other quarterbacks are available, right? Like we got to see the scenario play out before us. Like, are the Jets trading all these picks up to move up 2 spots? You're saying from 10, but what if there's multiple quarterbacks that they could get at 10 without having to trade anything? Like, you got to weigh all this.
I just think like this year's quarterback class is viewed the same like as this year's NBA draft. Like it's a legitimate elite class that everyone wants to get to the top of. I feel like the quarterbacks are going to go, the 4 are going to go in the top 5. Like it's going to be that kind of draft, like it was a few years ago with Caleb and Bo Nix and all those guys. Like the quarterbacks are all going to go early. I would think that's how the class is viewed.
You're probably right, but we felt that way last year too, and we saw that played out.
We got a whole we have a whole year until the draft. That's true. That's I was just surprised he had Meester. That's not shocking, but it's the same concern. Meester didn't play quarterback until his sophomore year of college. Like that's a little concerning. A little bit.
If the Jets get him, we need him on the show. We got to have Morgan make it happen.
We can do that. We can definitely do that. Like. Her boyfriend, he transferred now because he was never going to play. But, like, him and Drew are, like, best friends. They were in the same quarterback class, in the same room. They were they entered at the same time. That's really all I got.
Well, what time is your flight?
10:35.
Nice. So what do you do at an airport, Gary? Do you eat something unhealthy, or you stick to just butter?
No, I drink coffee. I drink coffee, and I call on the Jake Asman show.
Well, I'm happy to keep you company.
You know what's crazy is last year I won worst takes, and this year I was nominated for best takes. If I could go worst takes in 2025 and best takes in 2026, that'd be an amazing turnaround. Shout out to the committee.
What are your thoughts on being 3 of the 4 nominees in the Asmaniac Rumble of the Year award?
I think I'm going to lose. Like it's like when Kobe and Shaq were in the MVP discussion every year. They take votes away from each other. I think I'm going to lose. I think everyone's going to vote for a different one of my Rumbles. And then the other one is going to win. Like they're going to be equally divided. And you know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to lose.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Thanks for the time, Gary.
All right. Thanks, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary 3D Box.
Jet up. Let's go.
Gary repping the Jets at the airport. The Azzy Awards will be fun. We'll start them tomorrow. Again, thank you to Boomtown and the Human Fund especially for their amazing work making this happen. Gator as well for his input. Couple super chats left, and then we'll spin the wheel. But first, Cisco Lopez getting himself in the raffle for 5 entries. He gifted 5 to the community. Let's go.
Sometime I do super chat. Sometime I do gift membership. But all the time, I love the Jake Asman show. They call me Cisco Lopez.
Cisco, thank you as always for your tremendous support of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, last call to enter the Asmaniac raffle for today. Big shout out to Rick Kent. Says, put me in the raffle. Rick in for 4. Let's go.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Rick writing his name in there 4 times on the wheel. Henny Heisman says, I don't know why, but I feel like Gino will do something dumb and club will be starting. Bright side is we can only go up from here. See you in Tennessee. See you there, Henny. I mean, what is doing something dumb? Like he's going to get punched by his own teammate again? Like, I don't know. I think Gino starts week 1. How the Jets play is how long he'll have the job for. But I don't think Glenn's going to be inclined to remove Gino from the lineup, even if they get off to a 1-5 start. Gino gives him the best chance to win. K-Brock says, what's the Venmo? I want to enter the raffle. Jake-Asman on Venmo. AsmanJake at Gmail on Zelle, if that's easier for people. Plus, honestly, if you guys Venmo, YouTube doesn't get their cut. So I appreciate it. Let's see. Did I miss any super chats? I don't believe I did. So I'm going to finish counting all the names, and then we'll spin the Wheel of Champions. That sound good? Right after this short clip, 60 seconds, we come right back.
I have enjoyed listening to your podcast during the season. I used to listen to a lot of political talk, on podcasts and stuff, and it has just become impossible. It's so depressing. It doesn't pass the time in a nice way. So I found your podcast and I would listen to it a lot and I really enjoyed it. And I agreed, candidly, I found myself agreeing with a lot of your perspectives last year. I was very down on the coach and I know you got a lot of flack for that, but I thought you were absolutely right.
I mean, think about what you said, though. You used to listen to political talk stuff, but it was so depressing. You started listening to a podcast about the Jets who haven't made the playoffs in 15 years, and that was somehow more uplifting.
That's just how depressing the state of things are. But the Jets, I don't know, for whatever reason, I was scrolling through. I actually just searched one day Jets podcasts. And I found yours, and I liked it. And so I probably listened to 3 days a week, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope that the conversation is a little more cheerful as this season gets going. With the Asmaniacs and all of that stuff that you guys have, and you're always, I don't even understand what the contesting is that you're doing, but there's something that one can obviously do to participate in the program that I'm not aware of how to do. Whatever it is you're saying to do, hit a line, come to a thing, whatever it is you can do to win something, I wouldn't know how to do it even if I could, and I can't because I'm driving the car while I'm listening anyway. But one way or another, I do enjoy the show, and I've heard you very mad, which I have supported greatly. I'm hoping to hear you a lot happier this year, and I'm hoping to be happier myself.
Mike Greenberg confirmed as Maniac, folks. Watch the full Greeny interview. I put it up on the channel this morning. Let me give some love to Curly Norman. How about Curly getting himself in the raffle?
Hello? You play to win the game.
That's right. Rob Daniels is playing to win as well. Rob, I see you. $10 super chat here. 2 raffle entries. Says, just let the season begin already. Well, good news is training camp is next week, so we're going to get there, folks. Our big meetup at Chef Kevin's restaurant is a week from this Saturday. Like, it's happening, folks. We're here. We've made it through almost the dog days of summer where there's very little happening. We're almost there.
Jet up. Let's go.
Hey, I got the Venmo from Kevin Bracco. K-Brock says, Jets jersey raffle. Let's go Jets. K-Brock, I appreciate it. He purchased himself 2 raffle tickets. Mr. K-Brock, that's an outstanding job out of you. We appreciate that. Here's the confirmation on the screen. Let's go. Go Jets! Go Jets! Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. I am just about ready for a Wheel of Champions spin. Someone's going to win a Jets jersey of their choosing. When that happens, you'll feel the magic in the air. I know I certainly will. Right now, though, let's say hello to the master of raffle ceremony to send us to said Wheel of Champions.
Telling you it's time for some Wheel of Champions. Ladies, let's see if you all remember this. One winner's gonna get the share of a nice Jets jersey. Now, let's roll the wheel and get a winner. If I'm not the model, then you already know who the hell I am.
Thanks, Flabby Tits. It's time for that daily Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Hasman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Wheel of Champions. Good luck to everyone who entered. Only one live show from me today, but breaking news, Connor Long's doing an afternoon show on this channel at 4 p.m. today. I got radio, and then I'm tied up in some stuff after the show today. So I'm trying to give you guys as much content as we can. So join Connor this afternoon. He'll take calls and talk some Jets. And I'm going to try and even join the show once I get out of a couple things I got going on this afternoon. But you got Connor this afternoon, and then I'm back tomorrow morning with O'Leary for a Friday special. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wheel of Champions is on your screen. And now we must spin the Wheel of Champions to determine the winner. Remember, if you win, to claim your prize, you have to email me, asmanjake@gmail.com. You got to email me your name, address, the player you want of the jersey, and the size you wanted it. And everyone who entered today is in the weekly raffle, which will be names from the past 2 weeks. I've been doing so much extra radio, we haven't had the same volume of shows. So we just added more prizes to the weekly, and we'll do one mega raffle on Saturday. Again, good luck to all you guys. Thanks for watching. Time to pick a winner. The Wheel of Champions is being spun right now. How about this? The guy hosting all of us at his restaurant, the champ for Asmaniac Madness, Chef Kevin, is your winner of today's daily raffle prize. Let's go. Give it up for the champ, Chef Kevin.
He's always cooking or coaching or flashing his green. This man is cooking or kicking as maniac. He's at the tailgate, he's cooking, blow torching his food. A diehard Jets legend, the chef they call Kevin. Chef Kevin.
Congrats to our champ, Chef Kevin. What a week. What a month for Chef. Wayne Corbett signing the trophy, playing blackjack with Wayne Corbett, and now his run continues. He wins a Jets jersey of his choosing. Come meet Chef Kevin. Be ready to roll. The Chef, August 1st, Cloverleaf Tavern. RSVP if you're coming. It's free to do so. And we look forward to seeing so many of you after the Jets practice that morning. Again, thank you all for watching. I'm on the radio today from 1 to 3 on ESPN New York. You can watch it on the station's YouTube channel. Please call in, talk some football today. Would love to hear from some Asmaniacs on the line. If I recognize your name, I'll make sure we move you to the front of the line. Again, talk to you guys at 1. Connor's live at 4 on this channel. I'll try and stop by. You guys are the best. JETS, 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 Jets. We'll talk to you soon.
The Jet fans getting a little crazy.
People used to call me Pits. That's why I shave my goddamn body here. That's why I shave my pits. That's why I want to stay fresh.
Why did they call you Pits?
Because I used to stink.
Hey, Asmaniacs, make sure to hit the like button and keep on supporting the Jake Asman Show.
That's right, Beast. If you don't subscribe to Jake Asman Show, the Jets will never win another game. Go Jets!